Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you yet again another collaboration of the Irish Hotspur and Tottenham on tour. And today we are joined by co-host Jack Kinnicky and the two Bryans from the Tottenham on tour as well. We'll start with Jack. Jack, how are you keeping, my man?
Doing pretty well, Dave. Not really too excited about tomorrow. Just nice, relaxing Friday, watching a bit of the Big Jet TV, seeing what's going on over there. It seems to be a big stormy day over in the UK. Kind of enjoying watching that chat. Looking forward to seeing what the Harris Army has to say today. And always nice to kind of relax and just kind of wrap up the week. It kind of feels like with Tottenham on tour.
No, do you know what, Jack? I was actually watching a bit of that myself this morning. Your man, whoever's running it, they have over like 120K watching. It was
ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
It is. It's insane. But look, we'll start with Daigle. Daigle, how are you keeping, my man?
I'm good, mate. Good to see you're better. I have to say, Jack, I love that wrapping up the week with Tottenham on tour, or wrapping up the week with the Irish Hotspur. I'm loving.
The week's not over, but I'm going to pretend it's over. I'm going to pretend it's
over.
Good way to go about it. I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm loving that little title. That could be the new title of the show. I mean, that's brilliant. Like I said, it's always good to be here with. I always do it wrong. B2 over here. B2 over here is
B2
always a pleasure.
Whatever makes you feel better.
and obviously, Jack, it's always after the pleasure of having the fan show with you, and obviously David, you being back, and after our wonderful meeting last Sunday, honestly, it was forget the result. Do you know what? Forget that result. That day in itself, like if you take the football out of it, the meeting up, the beehive, the walk down to the ground, the goal line bar, and the after, that's what made the day for me. And I get to relive it with the three of you now.
No, look, I tell you what, it was a good day. It was great meeting everybody, especially yourself, Daigle. I mean, it's been long overdue. I think we started in and around the same time. So it was very, very nice to meet everybody. But I'll be honest with you, when you're paying for flights, you're paying for, other things and stuff like that, the result is the dampener on the day. You know, as much as it is nice meeting everybody, it is a bit of a dampener on the day. But look, Brian Ireland, how are you keeping, my man?
I'm doing well, mate. Like Jack, I'm relaxed. I think because of what's happening at the weekend, I don't have any expectations, so it's made it easier. Rather than building up the whole, oh God, what are we gonna do? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? I'm kind of like, if we get a result, that's great. If we don't, nothing changes for me really. So, so we'll get into that obviously. But doing well. Otherwise, it's a sunny, snowy day here in Canada at the moment.
No, that's what you want, lad. Honestly, we're supposed to have this storm and it's sun shining out there. That's typical.
I saw the O2's roof was blowing up this morning. I saw that was all over the internet. That was crazy.
Yeah. A couple of fences have gone from my next door neighbours flying into our garden.
Shout out to Adam Clark too, who can't be here because his power's out at the moment.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
So his power is out down the country, and I'm sitting here ready to come out on a sun lounger. You gotta.
I don't know what's going on where he is, but yeah.
You gotta love it. But look, before we get into it, we will see who's in the chat with us. We have Sue Smith. She's always here. She says #Levy out, #Enoch out, #Harris Army. Big up, Sue Smith. I hope you are keeping well. Cody Max in the building. Big up, Cody. He says, respect Antonio Conte, protect Antonio Conte, back Antonio Conte. #Spurs. Absolutely love that, Cody. I'm going to rub that off you, my man. Absolutely love it. Welsh guys in the building. She says, Knights of the Spurs roundtable. Big yourselves up, lads. Harris Army, Flat Cap Army. Come on, you Spurs and Welsh gal. We've got your question, and we will put it to the people, to the panel at the end. Bobby K says, good morning. Big up the Flat Cap and Harris Army. Come on, you Spurs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was this guy not made an appearance on the fan show?
Yeah, this is my very, very good friend. Do you know what? I'll tell you a quick story about Bobby. And
I set him up with some gear, by the way. If he sounds good and looks good, because I spent 3 days sorting him out. Yeah, so he's committed. He's committed.
He is. I mean, he started just following Tottenham on tour and Tottenham away just to support. And he's like, you know what? Let me give this a go. And everything I turn on now, he seems to be. He is loving it. He is loving it. He is. He made his debut when I did the fan show on Wednesday. He was on Tottenham, the We Are Tottenham TV boys yesterday. whilst I was just on the stream. I turned over to see if We Are Tottenham TV was still on. I guess who was on there? So his name is Bobby, and he's a YouTuber-aholic. He's joined. He's got the bug.
Was he in the Beehive the other day?
No, he's
in Canada.
Oh, I'm mixed up then.
He's one of us.
I think I've seen a different Bobby on the We Are Tottenham one. But Bobby, hopefully I'll see you on Monday, man, so we can have a good chat. Big yourself up, Bobby, and look, best of luck in YouTube and stuff like that. If you ever need anything, don't be afraid to ask, my man. But big up, Bobby. Pete from the lane, big up, lads. In Conte we trust. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Pete. It's good to see you, my man. Mark Swift says Storm Daigle is here. Big up, Marky. George Hill is in the building. Big up, David and Jacko, as well as the Tottenham on tour boys. Looking forward for this banger. I'd be unbelievably Spursy it would be unbelievable Spursy to get a result at the Etihad after last week. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Hearts Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. No, 100%. It's so Spursy. To lose to Southampton and Wolves and then go and nick a result from Man City. Big up, Georgie. Fix NBA 2K21 says, hello, lads. Hope you're well. Thanks, Dave, for following my Spurred page. Really do appreciate it, as I'm always watching the streams. No worries at all, my man. No worries at all. Look, I'll just quickly, people that have followed me on Twitter, I don't know what's going on lately, but it's not letting me follow people back. I've tried to get it sorted. It's not getting sorted out whatsoever. Maybe it's just I'm gaining that much followers. I probably need to get a blue tick or something like that. I'm not sure, but we'll get it sorted. But anyone on Instagram, I follow straight back. And even before this problem arose with Twitter, I was following people straight back. So I'll follow anybody back that has the courtesy to follow me. It's only polite, my man. But big up, Fix NBA. We have Bodrul Mazid. I absolutely love that name. That's a good one on the tongue. Nice. He says, afternoon, everyone. Nice to see Irish Hotspur feeling better. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, my man. I am back. Big Daddy is back, boy. Peter Simmons says, so PSG in for Conte, eh? Don't worry about the news, my man. It's slow news day yesterday and today, so they have to create something. And there you are. Conte's interview gave
Antonio Conte and Neymar though in the same dressing room. That actually sounds spectacular. Actually,
get that on the Amazon Prime for sure. I'd love to see a backroom conversation going on there.
I love it. Billy West said, would love to meet Paddy down the Spurs, my man. Next time I'm there, no problem at all. No problem at all. William Pretty says, give Roden a chance, not Sanchez. 100%. Could not agree more, my man. Sanchez is done for me. Jelly and Ice Cream says, yes, lads. Cody Max says, 2 Bryans and 2 legends. Nice one. Big up, Cody, my man.
Cheers, Codes.
William Pretty says, my next door neighbour has lost 5 fences.
It's an auction. Anyone else got an improvement on 5? I've got 2. William's got 5.
Oh, I love it. Stevie Fraser says, afternoon, panel, and hey, chat. Big up, Stevie. We have Michael Bennett. Yes, lads, great panel. Big up, my man. I hope you're keeping well. We also have John in. We all have to back Conte and Levy out. Big yourself up, my man. I hope you're keeping well. Who else have we got here? Edessa. Big up, Edessa. Says, Mr. Harris, you're doing great. All me best. Skippy. No, look, I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm back to full health now. And yeah, look, put the big push for 6K is on. After that, then it's the 10K, and I will not stop either until I get there. But I really appreciate it. And do you know what I have to say? It was very heartwarming, the amount of people that were checking in, making sure it's okay, and the well wishes. It's absolutely unbelievable. So I really do appreciate everybody. But Dessa, big yourself up. And I really appreciate it. You're too kind, way too kind. THFC McGrath says, what's the crack, lads? Big up, my man. We also have Derek Hutchinson. Good afternoon, David Jack, Brian D, and Brian I. Let's go to City and get at that mob. Yeah, look, probably. Look, I hope they have enough librarians because people are probably going in there just to get out some books. Plenty of spare seats in the stadium. Usually very, very quiet as well. So should be a nice, relaxing day for the Spurs fans traveling up there. Potter Mac says, big up Dave and Jack and Tottenham on tour. Big up Potter Mac. I hope you're keeping well, my man. Who else have we got? I don't want to miss anybody. We have 164 Spur afternoon, lads. Big up, my man. I hope you're keeping well. Sushant Busal says, love you all, people, but worries on City. One, to be honest, look, it's one of them. It's just a free hit, to be honest with you. If we get battered, I'm not going to sit there and be angry. It is what it is. It's like the Chelsea game, just do not have the quality to compete with these teams. So there's no point in getting angry about it, no point in working myself up about it. But if we win, oh,
Talk about getting worked up. Talk about getting worked up.
oh no, if we win, I'll get worked up.
That's what I mean.
back of
Yeah,
line
that's what I
high.
mean. Yeah.
Kev Williams says Spurs for fourth best. For fourth, let's beat the Gooners to the Champions League spot. Come on, you Spurs. I love that positivity, Kev Williams.
Big up, Kev.
Absolutely love it. Clement says, I like this show. Big up, Clement. Good to see you in. Harrison Brownlee says, legends. Big yourself up, my man. And we also have Ben Kamial. He says, hello, everyone. Should Sanchez be dropped? Maybe we should leave him out. Should Enoch be dropped? Yes, leave you out.
Nice one, Ben.
Love it.
Absolutely love that. I do love
quality.
it. But everybody, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you do smash that subscribe button as well. Oh, Bobby K, birthday weekend for me. Have full faith, the lads. Come on, Bobby. Absolutely love that. And look, happy early birthday for you. Go and enjoy yourself, my man. Do enjoy the weekend. Everybody, make sure you do smash that like button on the stream. Massive, massive help with the YouTube algorithms. If you're new to the channel, make sure you do smash that subscribe button. Bar Fridays. Actually, no, because it is on Fridays, we actually do probably have content daily. So make sure you smash that subscribe button. And guys, feel free to get in your super chats, get questions in for the panel. Always lead to great talking points as well. But the best thing about it is the great way to support myself and Jack on our YouTube takeover. So, you know, it's absolutely massive to what we do here. But look, do not worry. We know it's a big, bad world out there. Not everybody is in a position to be able to do it. Just get your comments in, your answers into the questions that we're asking, and we will bring them up on screen. That is a part of the deal here. We want to include absolutely everybody that we can to the very best that we can. But look, I suppose we'll get straight into it, and I'm going to lob this question straight at Mr. Daigle first. Daigle, I was there after the Wolves defeat, and I noticed that after the defeat, they ramped up that music in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium over the big speaker system. Do they ramp that up so high to stop people airing their frustrations and chants against Daniel Levy and Enoch? And just quickly, let me add, I mean...
Great start, David.
As soon as the boo started, as soon as they started, this joke was unbelievably loud. I was seriously loud. So, Brian, like, what's your thoughts?
So first of all, let me just give... I just put my camera on mute. My camera, I can't stop doing that. My microphone on mute, because I got a message on the update WhatsApp group I had with Tammy and Kim for Bob Spur, obviously, and I just listened to it as a short update, so I can give a little more positivity. So for the first time since December, Bobby is eating the normal way, not through tubes and not through everything. So he's just had his first bit of ice cream that he's very, very enjoying. So
that's good to hear.
So again, we really, really are now like riding the crest of a wave to you've seen him a lot in the chats. I mean, he was in Chris's Let's Talk Tottenham stream earlier, and he said, I've got to go. I'm about to have a leg massage. Then he gave his, yeah. And it was the first time I heard yeah in the Bob way of saying it. I'm actually seeing him on Tuesday. So there will be a big thing coming out on Tuesday, or hopefully a bit more. But yeah, just a little update on Bob to say he's now starting to in his rehab, starting to learn. He's got to have eating training again, but to hear that he's sitting down and eating an ice cream with his spoon, and what a wonderful thing to start. Now,
2 days though. That was only 2 days ago, which is crazy actually, Brian. To think about it. Hey, you and I were you just gave the update 2 days ago.
Big
turnaround steps already.
Yeah. So he is starting to do it. So now the positivity is done. Let's get back to that question. So I mean, oh Bobby, look at Bobby go. Look at the
Bobby.
trooper.
Legend Bob.
So Alistair Gold did his piece on this as well, so I'm told, about what the media. Now I haven't heard Alistair Gold's comments, so I can't really comment what Ali said, but you got to know. Listen, I'm sure when we had that last season at the Lane and we won pretty much every home game or didn't lose at home and the atmosphere was buoyant, the music wasn't getting put on straight away and was not getting put on unbelievably loud. But it's not just for the board, it's for the corporate. For the corporate people as well that pay, you got to remember, they pay very, very good money. And I mean, extortionate amount of money to come and wine and dine their clients and clinch business deals or sweeten deals. The last thing they want to do is hear the true reactions from the fans. And it's obviously a ploy. It's obviously a ploy. Like they did years ago when they made internet connection really bad, so the online betting across the world, they jammed the reception, so you can't get much Wi-Fi or data. It's obvious they're doing this. It's obvious. He knows what's happening. The board knows what's happening. The corporate knows what's happening. But if you can drown it out, so you can't hear it, you don't think it's happening, but I don't hear it, so I'm going to go along with my merry way. It's just another thing. I mean, let's face it. If I was in his shoes, I would be cranking it up throughout the whole 90 minutes because it's not a nice environment in there at the moment. And whether you agree with it or not, it's for a particular reason. So if I could drown that out, if I was in his shoes, I would be doing exactly what he's doing. So for him, it's a genius move, but it's him just trying to say, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's all skittles and rainbows out there in the south stand and around the ground. They're not booing. They're going woohoo, but they can only hear the whoo bit. So it's.
Do you think when he left? Do you think when the final whistle? I just pictured when David told me about this, Brian. Like I just pictured, Levy in his Senator kind of Palpatine, Sith Lord kind of outfit, walking up the stairs and just snaps behind his head. Cue the music. The moment that
like Mary Poppins when they play that game and they clean the bedroom. It's like
the moment he gets up from the chair, the music starts. The moment it's like a trigger or something.
He's probably got one of those, those remote controls we all have for our Sky or Virgin or Rogers back home. He's trying to find the angle with the sweet spot just to turn it on as quickly as possible. I could just see him going like this, trying to find a.
It's just it's attached to a seat, Bri. He just stands up and it turns on.
Yeah, that's it.
There's a release button on the bottom of his seat.
That's probably what he has got, mate. But yeah, it's an obvious
built it into the cost. But we're paying for it, obviously, right?
It's kind of like when Wenger used to say, "Oh, did you see that decision? Oh, I didn't see it. And we're like, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Well, now he can say, I didn't hear it, where but it's a blatant ploy that they're trying. May work for him, but people know what's going on.
Brian, I don't even think it's a ploy. I think it's just that's what they're doing because they.
Do you think it's more for
they're not hiding it. It's just like, let's just do this.
And also, Kevin Kay, I can't really give Levy a break when the question is about Levy. It's a bit hard when the question is thrown at me to talk about is Levy doing this to go. Oh no, I blame the steward in the West Stand. So
blame the audio guy, Brian. That's what happens to us usually.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, blame the audio guy. Okay, but yeah, so that's it. It's not just Tottenham. Any team would do that. I'm sure teams that are in a relegation struggle or sick of their manager and they want the manager out, that the chairman. For the directors and mainly the corporate people that go to that game, they don't want to be hearing it. So it's a tactic that not just Tottenham, but I think every team uses.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I'll throw a question at Brian Ireland now in 1 second. Bobby K, big YouTube member. I do hope to see you Monday, my man. And he says this is one of the best investments I've ever made. Guaranteed return. Love the collaborations and the panel. Big yourselves up. Won't give Levy my money, so big up the YouTube community. Big yourself up, Bobby. Really appreciate that, Bobby. Man. And Ben Camilla says, thank you, guys. Big up, Ben. Man. I really do appreciate the support, brother. You have no idea how much it really does help us out. What an absolute legend.
Always in here as well. He's been a huge regular recently, Ben, so good to see you in here, my man. Do appreciate the support.
No, big up, Ben. What an absolute legend. Brian Ireland, do you think that you know that they probably put the music up really loud at the end of the game, just so that the likes of the Sky Sports cameras and stuff like that, the media, that they don't pick it up because they've already ripped us apart already, over the last couple of weeks. Do you think that's probably another part to do with it?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't surprise. People who know me. I'm not very much into conspiracy or things that aren't for good reason. It does seem to me a little odd that this is probably something you wouldn't have noticed before, but now you're noticing it. So that it's a likelihood. Bad press is bad for a club that's already got a lot of bad press. So if there's ways to avoid it, they're going to try to avoid it. And if they can avoid Sky Sports, especially Sky Sports talking nonsense, then they'll probably try to avoid it.
No, 100% for sure. And look, Jack, we'll move on now to a bit of the news that was out there this morning. Harry Kane is thought to be 50-50 on whether he should remain at Tottenham or push for an exit. The report from, I think it was the Mail or something like that, he says the report implies that his choice will be influenced by three things: whether he thinks he can win a trophy at Spurs, Conte's future at the club, and whether the Italian is back sufficiently in the summer transfer market. It is added that Kane is not currently interested in starting negotiations over a new Tottenham contract. Jack, is it just another slow news day again, and the media are trying their best to destabilize Spurs, or do you think there's truth to this?
I think there's truth to this, but maybe the intensity in which they're trying to suggest that it's true is probably not the case. I do believe that Harry Kane is probably being quite hesitant, might be a bit harsh, but to say that he's being, he's being thoughtful, he's taking his time over this decision because he doesn't want to put himself in a situation that he can't get out of, maybe similar to last season or the summer. And I think probably, Dave, it might be a bit similar to Hugo's sort of situation to a degree, where he wants to see maybe what the actual future is, maybe what his plan is over at Spurs, what Spurs are trying to achieve, what Spurs are really going to be shooting for next season. And if Harry Kane is convinced by what they're really going to go for, then Harry Kane will sign that contract. If he's not convinced, then he won't sign that contract. And actually, to be fair, Dave, fair play to him, because I think he shouldn't really just, I don't know, he's had his allegiance, he's had his faith, he's had his pride in the club being taken advantage of before. It's being taken advantage of by fans. It's being taken advantage of by Daniel Levy. And so I think it's time for Harry Kane to, think about, and not use his brother this time, but, think for himself what his actual priorities are this time around, what he actually does want to achieve. If he thinks Antonio Conte is his man, if he thinks Antonio Conte is the guy to deliver him that almighty trophy that he wants at Spurs, then he'll stick around. If he doesn't see Daniel Levy maybe helping himself as well as Antonio Conte, then Harry Kane should leave. Is Harry Kane thinking about this right now in this moment in time, Dave? I don't think so. But is it something that's in the back of his head, every once in a while? Probably, every passing week. To say that it's like something that's intensely on his mind every waking second, I think is probably not the case by a long shot. But to say that he isn't thinking about these sort of things, and those three things that would keep him at the club, Dave, those three things you mentioned, he probably is thinking about those every once in a while.
Yeah, he's definitely thinking about trophies, that's for sure.
David, can I just add something on this very quickly? I said this as well quite heavily during the transfer window as well with this Harry Kane story, when I was saying this transfer window wasn't just to show Nuno that we mean business, but was to show Harry Kane, okay, you committed, this is the kind of player we're going for, this is what we're going to do to match your ambitions, and this is where we're going to go. Because we all know at the summer this story could I mean, we've heard that he's very happy under Conte. He's very happy. He's and he's looked like the player that we had normally. He's back to himself. He needs to get a few more goals, but his commitment, his dedication, something I was questioning heavily, is there for all to see. If we get to the summer and we haven't got Champions League football and we haven't won the FA Cup, there's a good chance that conversation is going to happen, where bang, bang, bang on the door. Okay, Mr. Levy, where do we go from here? And if he goes, oh, this is the summer we buy everyone, Kane's going to be like, where have I heard this before? What's going on? So for me, this January transfer window wasn't just to assist Conte. It was to show Harry Kane, listen, we are going to be on your wavelength. So I'm surprised it's taken this long for this story to be falsely reported or have some momentum to it. But we've left ourselves open with this transfer window, in my opinion. And this could be a discussion. I think Conte being there, he may have the power to say, listen, just stay and get it over the line that way. But we are open to that conversation because of January.
I mean, look, it's not like Harry Kane has gone to a reporter and said these things.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's literally, they have nothing else to talk about today. They're bored. They're sitting there twiddling their thumbs. What will we report about? Let me see. Conte's interview yesterday. Let's go and report the obvious. Let's bring it back to Harry Kane. Will he stay? Will he not this summer? I mean, every Spurs fan knew that this was going to happen this summer. If Tottenham aren't back, there's a potential that Kane will leave. I mean, but the fact that they're doing it now, I just don't like the way they're trying to destabilize Spurs. It pisses me off.
Yeah, David,
you're completely right. You're completely right.
They take quotes from previous conversations about a thing a player said, and then they'll use them again as if they just said them. So it's not true. It's true that the player said the quote at some point, but it might not be relevant at all to the current situation. But they'll put it in an article and say that something's going on. It's very standard from journalists when they have nothing to talk about to do that, to manipulate information essentially.
Do you think Ireland? Do you think because I saw something from Simon Jordan today that I thought was really interesting, where he spoke about how the whole Antonio Conte interview, there's this base narrative that's been written by the media that Antonio Conte is unhappy, he's unsettled, he wants to leave Tottenham Hotspur. That's their belief. That's what they think is going to happen. So anything that does happen, they're going to try to bend whatever words come out from Conte to fit that sort of narrative. And even if it doesn't fit that narrative, they will find a way to then, no matter what, spin the words, even if they aren't really interpreted that way by Conte, to fit that sort of narrative. And I think you could probably find a parallel between that and the Kane situation. Between,
100%. Yeah.
I think it's almost exactly the same to a degree. So
yeah, I mean, I thought what Simon Jordan said on TalkSport was spot on, and I completely agree that it's a scenario where there's not a lot to talk about, and Spurs are sort of in disarray to some extent with 3 losses in a row coming up against City, and the coach is going, who doesn't speak the best English, is going on Italian media and saying things to them, and it's being mistranslated and it's being turned into something that I don't think it is. Not to say that Conte is like 100% happy with everything that's going on. He's probably expressed that to the club, to the board, and to Levy, to say, hey, I get, things are difficult in January. I get, we tried to do some stuff. We did get rid of some of these players, but going into the summer, my expectations. He doesn't need to repeat it again, and he doesn't need to be said in the media that it isn't the case anymore. That hasn't changed. You could see it in his interview today. He came out pretty pissed off that it was being misconstrued the way it was, and he's like, look, I don't understand why this is happening. It's really quite unfair to Spurs, and just generally I don't get why this keeps happening to Tottenham in particular, and it needs to stop. And the club have basically said don't do any more interviews for Italian media, but it is just blown out of proportion, generally blown out of proportion. And of course Spurs fans right now, because we're so sensitive about our situation, our reaction is to go the worst possible scenario, and that's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
But the way the media are acting, and the way they're like Spurs fans that maybe don't tune into YouTube and stuff like that, like they could be under the delusion that Harry Kane and Antonio Conte have gone rogue and just started speaking to the media.
Oh yeah, it looks that way.
I remember being asked that over the summer, Dave.
Yeah.
I remember being asked that over the summer, actually. Tons of people who aren't exactly Spurs fans, tons of people who don't really follow Spurs media that, intensely the whole time, every single day, just being asked, so what day is Harry Kane leaving? What day is Harry Kane leaving?
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, to be honest, it's really up in the air.
Or from
no
non-Spurs fans.
But the narrative was that Harry Kane is definitely leaving. Harry Kane's out the door. He's picking a house as we speak. And I don't know, Dave, I think the only thing that's kind of scary about this situation with Conte is that he's probably insulted, because if he really wanted to voice his complaints, if he really wanted to voice his concerns, like you said in the interview today, he can walk upstairs to Daniel Levy's office and go complain at his desk about what's happening. Exactly. Why on earth would he go crying to the media about all the problems that he's having? He's a grown man. He's also a guy with a lot of power and a lot of authority and a lot of respect. So you feel like there's no reason why he would sulk and go to the Italian media to voice his complaints.
He holds all the cards
to Levy.
I mean, honestly,
holds all the cards.
If you look at social media, you wouldn't think this whole thing with Russia and Ukraine are going on. You just think it's Antonio Conte and Harry Kane. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you want something to go and report on, go and report on that. You know what I mean? Honestly, it fucks me off. But look, it is what it is. At least we know what the media is like. Killian Gubins, big yourself up, my man. Really do appreciate the support. Let me know whereabouts in Ireland you're from, brother. He says, hi, guys. Are you looking forward to the City game? Can I ask also, what are all your predicted lineups for the game? I believe we can get a draw if we frustrate them, like the last time we played them. Look, I'm not going to predict the Tottenham clean sheet anyway, that's for sure. Not with Davidson Sanchez and Ben Davies back there, the way they've been playing, especially what I've seen against Wolves. Do I think we'll be able to replicate the 1-0 from the start of the season? Probably not. But look, I'm never, ever, ever going to give rival fans what they want. I'm never going to predict the Tottenham loss. So I will predict 2-1. In terms of starting lineups, I actually do think you'll see the system change. I think you will see 3-man in midfield for this.
Has to be.
Game. I think, look, Sanchez probably will start unless Dyer's fit. Romero, Davies. I would bring Emerson back in ahead of Doherty. Now, look, Killian, I know you're a huge fan of Doherty, but watching him there live, my man, the guy is just not good on the ball whatsoever. He's just not good on the football. He doesn't want to take the onus. At times, you're looking at him get on the ball, drive down the right-hand side. Just refused to do it. Just did not want to do it. So I'd bring Emerson back in. I'd put Reguilon back over the other side. I'd put Højbjerg, Bentancur. I didn't see the press conference, Brian. Do you know if Skip is fit?
Skips, listen, David, Skip's injury is worse than
It's worse than it was expected.
It's worse than he's going to be out for a while. Not season ending, but he's going to be out for
a few more weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, on that case, I bring in Harvey White. I don't want to see Winks in a Tottenham jersey anymore. Absolutely fed up with the guy. Put Harvey White in there, give him a go. And then up front, I would go with Kane and Son. And that's just me, Jack.
The 3-5-2 is going to be tough to try to figure out and explain here. Dyer, Davies, Romero, Emerson, Reguilon, Bentancur, Højbjerg. What's actually going to happen is Harry Winks will start again. Yeah. But
sadly,
let's go crazy. Kulusevski makes the drop into the midfield. And then up top, we have Sonny and Harry Kane.
Love it. And the two brains, which one wants to go first?
Yeah, I can start. I'm basically exactly the same as Jack, so I'll keep it simple and quick. Maybe other than the Kulu, I would like to see Kulu come in that position. I think that's the right thing to do. I'd like to see him playing. I'd like to see him at a sort of modified 3-5-2 instead of the three midfielders that Kulu's kind of playing in a 10, and he's a little further forward. It's a bit more of a diamond in that 3 rather than 3 across, or there's a bit more attacking intent. Whether that happens against City or not, but we have to play 3 in the midfield. We've been bad even against teams that we should be beating with only 2 players in the midfield. He's had to change it up very quickly last game in the 26th minute to deal with the fact that we're getting overrun. So that needs to change, and the injuries will dictate what happens in the defense.
Spot on, absolutely spot on. And Diego?
Yeah, so the way I look at this, first of all, we have to go 3-5-2, in my opinion, because I've said it before, the 3 up top, we're not getting the best out of Kane. If you look at his performance against Liverpool when he was part of the front 2, Leicester, I was there at that amazing Leicester game, and Harry Kane put in a world-class performance. He was everywhere, even the assist for the final goal for Bergwijn. All these good performances come when he plays in the 2. Not the 3, and he is our greatest weapon, and we have to utilize him and get the best out of him to stand a chance in any game at the moment, but City for sure. When it comes to the back, I mean, midfield I'm kind of undecided, but the way I'm looking at it, if Dyer is back and goes into the centre, Romero goes to the right, then I would start Romero. And the only reason I would start not Romero, Emerson. I always do that with those 2. I don't know why.
It's the 2 R's, buddy. The 2 R's confusing sometimes. I did the same thing. I did the same
always
thing.
Got my back. Thanks, brother. So always a pleasure to see the diamond as well. But yeah, because I think if you put Sanchez and Emerson next to each other, there is a breakdown in communication. There is a lack of coordination. There is a lack of discipline. There is static. So if you have Romero on the side, I think Emerson offers you more. But if Dyer is out and Roy, for God's sake, Romero starts in the centre, then I want Doherty to start right back, only because Sanchez will be that right centre back, and I can't have Sanchez and Royale together. It's just, you might as well say we're playing with 9 men. There you go, just come down here. Midfield, Bentancur, it has to be the first name on that team sheet every single game. And again, what I was saying with Harry Kane getting the best out of him in a 2, we only seem to have Harry Winks do any kind of decent work when he's in a 3. Yeah. Because he's got 2 people to fall back on. Like we do with the back 3. If you look at our back 3, if you said it was Dyer and Sanchez or Dyer and Davies, you're like, oh no, not in a 2. But when they're in a 3 and there's someone there to help them, it's like that insurance policy, that extra buffer. So if we do go a 3 in midfield, I think Winks will start, and it'll be Højbjerg and Bentancur. But I would like to see us be more aggressive, because we can't defend, we need to attack. So I wouldn't mind seeing Bentancur, Højbjerg, and then Kulu start. And the one change I'll make up top, and I love Lucas Moura, so it's hard for me to say this, is I want to see Bergwijn start. I really want to see Bergwijn start, because whether you're a fan of him or not, since the Leicester game, and even before,
is that right? Is that if you're playing 3 though? If you're playing 3, does Bergwijn?
Oh yeah, I did 2 up top, didn't I? Sorry, my bad. Mate, that's what. I want us to play with 12 players. We might win.
It's the only way we're going to win.
Exactly. A 5-3-3 is what we're playing.
Well, City get away with it. City get away with it. So
Yeah,
exactly. We should as
so,
well.
so do you know what? Sorry, so let's go back. If we play a 3-4-3, which unfortunately I think we will, I really think we will. And if we do, I'm very scared. But I really want to see Bergwijn up top, because just before Christmas against West Ham and another couple of, when I was at the Crystal Palace game, he is looking bright. He could have scored the equaliser. He's getting in those positions. All right, it was offside. It was clearly offside when we looked at the replay, but he's getting in those positions. He is making an impact. And I think Lucas may need a bit of a rest. So if we went 3, I'd like to see Bergwijn give it a chance. But 3-5-2 is where I'd rather we went.
I think that extra midfield, just to add to it as well, I think that extra midfield, when you have that third, it protects your wingbacks a little bit, because those wingbacks do get further forward, and then you have that additional player to sit deeper in and to fill in a space if one of the players makes a run.
True.
You do see that quite often in a team that plays with wingbacks with the extra midfielder in there. They can adjust. So I think that's the right thing to do. But for some reason, the Conte, maybe it's just personnel, doesn't think we can pull it off, even though our best games have been played with that 3-5-2.
Yeah, for sure. But look, big up, Killian, my man. Absolutely great talking point. Big yourself up. And I really appreciate the support, my man. What an absolute legend. But look, back to the man I love talking about the most. The man I love more than my missus. Man I love more than my family. And it's Big H. Daigle, has the time now come for Spurs to prove to Conte and Kane that they are serious?
There's not a number big enough to put a percentage on it to say how much. I was just speaking about it when Jack was talking about Harry Kane and how important I thought this January was. Listen, the guy, forget how I felt with him after the debate or the summer transfer and the start of the season. Since Conte's come in, he's been back. He's been appreciated by the manager. He loves that manager, and we know on his day there is no one better. There is no one better in the world. The bit I've just felt, like I said, with the formation, I don't know. This 3 just doesn't seem to get the best out of him. But we have to. We have to. I mean, if we don't show this summer to Conte and Kane we mean business, there's a good chance we could lose Conte and Kane this summer. And if it goes that way, it's going to get very, very ugly, like with the sacking or walking out of Conte and Harry Kane being like, right, that's it. I said another year. It could turn what was already quite a toxic atmosphere amongst fan bases for obvious reasons, could turn it over it could get really, really bad. But like I used to say with Pochettino, if there's anyone that deserved a blank checkbook to a certain extent, say, right, what do you need? You show me what you can do with this. Let's see what you can do with real players. It's Poch. And if there's a player that deserves to be said, you know what, we set you targets every single season and you smashed them every single season, it's Harry Kane. All right, his goal tally is not going to be, we all know this and can agree, he ain't going to set the high goal tallies that he scored last season, the season before. But he is, every single season, that man has delivered and then some. And if there's any player that deserves to say, right, do you know what? You've stuck by us. We're going to show you what we can do to back you. It's this man. So the answer to that question is very simply a number that I can't even compute or say. Percent yes. The
number we can't count to. The number we can't count to.
Infinity. With my Buzz Lightyear yesterday, infinity and beyond is the percentage they need to be backed.
No, 100%. 100%.
I just have to say, with this thing, I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter right now. It's a view. So there's a view that I can show you the picture. On the West Stand, the roof is going like.
I'm watching it. I'm watching it as we speak right now.
So look, I don't know if you.
It's waving like the whole freaking roof. It's probably designed to do that, though, guys. I would.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Oh, does it help if I push play? Yeah, it might help. Yes, but I don't know if you'll see the top of it is absolutely wobbling.
Yeah,
but apparently it is.
That's wobbling more than me after a few beers, lad.
It is a stadium piece of technology or whatever, or design.
Yeah, it's like earthquakes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's designed to deal with extreme weather for sure.
Exactly. So
nobody panic. Don't panic.
Yeah, that is. It does look like holy shit. It's very, very windy out there, which trust me, it is here in London.
Yeah.
But that is the design spec, so to speak.
For sure.
Yeah. No, for sure. Mr. Ireland,
Yes, sir.
given we are in danger of losing Conte and Kane, do you think Levy and Enoch will give them all the tools to be winners that they so desperately crave?
This is the question that everybody's asking, and
The agent's question.
Yeah, and it really is. I think absolutely to some extent, what Conte's been asked for, he will get. Whether that's enough for Spurs fans to accept it will be a completely different story. Same goes for Kane. I think Kane knows what's expected. He knows that Conte has been told he's going to get back. Conte is probably going to get back as much as the club are willing to back him, and whether that's going to be enough for him to stay, I think so. To me, I get the feeling that he came into this job recognizing that it is a bit of a shit show, and then he's going to have to go through these types of moments, especially not having a full preseason. He's going to have a full preseason. That's going to be massive, and that's going to get arguably him to stay probably for the entire season, because he's going to want to see how that pans out with having that preseason and a proper transfer window with some of the players we're going to need to bring in. And we've got rid of those four players that were, or three in particular, that were problematic, that were costing a lot of money. The money will be there. How we spend it, whether we spend it well or not, that's something we still don't know 100%. It's been a little bit of back and forth of whether Paratici's doing the job or not. But I think so. I think we'll get back. I think he'll get back, and I think both of them will be there next season.
Do you know what? I love that, Brian. I love that. It's music to my ears. It makes me settle down here, and these two over here.
Might not be a popular opinion, but that's where I'm at with it. So.
If they don't, I'd be blaming you. I'd be straight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ireland, where the hell are you, mate?
You promised me.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. But look, moving on. Tottenham will travel to Korea, the home country of their star player, Son Heung-min, in July for the club's pre-season tour. The trip will mark the resumption of the team's customary overseas pre-season tour, which has been on hold since 2020 due to the COVID-19. Tottenham will play 2 exhibition matches, but details have not been confirmed yet. Jack, is this good for the team, or is this a money-making exercise?
Are those like mutually exclusive?
Yeah, first question, Jack.
Yeah, for me, Dave, this is the one time where I would say I don't really care if this is a money-making exercise. I actually think it's quite clever. I sincerely do. I think, it's probably where outside the UK, you could make the argument that at least proportionally, that might be the second biggest, fan, concentration of Spurs fans, at least proportionally. And it makes complete sense. It's where a huge market is. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, it felt like every team was making the trip all the way over to Asia to do some sort of exhibition or games. Hasn't really happened too much recently. It feels like more teams are going to the Middle East and whatnot now. But I don't know, Dave. I think it appeals to the market. It really appeals to selling more kits. Probably helps Levy be able to, bring in more profits, considering he is going to have to probably fork over a lot more money this summer. So he is probably trying to make a bit of it back. You could make the argument maybe it is actually good for a bit of team camaraderie. It's not probably going to be a high stakes sort of situation. They get to travel together. They get to be together. They get to be able to, grow as, a team together. If we have some new signings by then, that'd be nice, because then they get to travel with the team and whatnot. Some maybe good opportunities for younger players. I don't know, Dave. I know it maybe seems like a money-making exercise, but at the end of the day, there are times when it does need to be a money-making exercise in order for the club to have some sort of generated profits, especially if Daniel Levy's going to fork over a lot more money this summer, Dave. He's going to try to make money however he can, wherever he can. But for me, Dave, yes, it maybe doesn't help the team dramatically. I don't think it really takes a lot away from the team. So I'm actually not too fussed up about it, to be fair.
No, I actually think it's very smart, to be fair as well. But look, there's only one question you can really ask off the back of that.
It's good to know, though. There you are, Harris Army. If you want to make the trip down to Korea, I mean, you can see the team over there. It sounds actually fun. Especially summertime. Sounds spectacular, actually.
100%. Crocodoc says, if your Regulon has COVID, are we all hyped for Doherty at left wing back? There you go. Hyped for that?
Hopefully, we'll see Sessegnon at left wing back. Hopefully, and give him more than 26 minutes. Let's just hope. I mean, the left back. Regulon at the moment has been in and out, and that's where the full more fitness. We just can't get any consistency in the 2 positions that we are lacking at the weakest at the moment. Doherty at left wing back gives me nightmares. In all honesty, gives me nightmares. So Regulon, please negative. Or if not, Sessegnon.
Yeah. Look, Crocodocs, me, I actually think you could be correct here. I don't know whether Conte thinks Sessegnon has enough experience to maybe playing against City, but on the other hand, he did play against Liverpool and pocketed Mo Salah. So does he put him back in there? Look, I would prefer a left footer to be on the left side rather than that be on the right side and having to come in all the time. Look, it remains to be seen. It'd be an interesting call from Conte, whatever he does do, but I just think it would make sense to put Sessegnon out there. And look, I think it was I don't think he actually deserved to come off against Wolves. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I would have hauled off Davies or Sanchez.
Yeah.
And I would have kept Sessegnon out there, because when we did take off Sessegnon, when Ben Davies went out to left back, when the ball came out to him, he didn't want to open up his body and play on the outside where all the space was. He kept on just passing it back inside. And taking off Sessegnon, I do think was a bit of a mistake. I can understand why he done it, but for me, I'd put Sessegnon out there as well. He probably he got a lot of love off Spurs fans. No one was booing him or anything like that, so that was good to see. Maybe this guy has a point to prove. Put him out there and see what he can do, Crocodiles. But big yourself up, my man. I really do appreciate the support, brother. I really do. Look, I did have a question about Winks, but I'll be honest with you, I have a headache from talking about him for about half an hour to 45 minutes yesterday. So we're going to skip that and we're going to move on. We'll move on to Davinson Sanchez. So Davinson Sanchez, form of late, has been abysmal. Brian Ireland, should we drop him and change to a 4 at the back until Dyer is fit, or stick to the 3 at the back and give Roden a chance?
Oh man, that's a loaded question, isn't it? It is a good one. I'd like to see Sanchez. If Dyer's not fit, Sanchez shouldn't play. Sanchez can't lead, can't take he needs instructions. He needs somebody around him to dictate what he's going to do. Otherwise, he's fucking useless. And you can see it. You can just see he's looking up in the air, looking for somebody to help him, and he's useless. So Dyer's fit, he's out, and you play 3 at the back. If Dyer's not fit, yeah, I would consider a 4 at the back at that point because of the what he potentially offers when it comes to mistakes and putting us in difficult situations, and just not being able to lead, not being able to make good decisions. He made Lloris really nervous, and basically just Lloris like, what do I do? Like Lloris looked tentative and uncomfortable with Davinson Sanchez to the right of him. So I would say get rid of him. In regards to getting bringing in the Welsh center half, his inability to convince any other manager that we've had, and we've had 4 since he's been with the club. Rodon doesn't look like, probably in training, like any of these managers are going to trust him. So I'm going to trust that 4 managers know better than I do. I'd rather go to a 4 than bring him in for the sake of it if he's not ready.
Yeah. Good. It's absolutely, and you were spot on there, Brian Ireland, with what you're saying. Like, Davinson Sanchez has to be told what to do. If he doesn't have someone telling him what to do, he's in no man's land. You're absolutely spot on there. I like that, Brian. Jack, do you think we should maybe switch to maybe a 4 at the back for the foreseeable, just to see how it goes? If this 3-4-3 or if this 3-4-3 is not working?
Yeah, to be fair, yes. There's 2 answers to that, Dave. Yes, probably because we might actually play better with the 4 in the back. The problem, though, is that you don't – this is the issue, is that with Antonio Conte at the helm, you would want him to be able to play the system, Dave, that he knows he can succeed with, the system that he's won a Premier League title in fact, with. We want him to be able to play a system of that. We want him to be able to play the system he's played at Juventus, the one he's played at Inter Milan. It seems a bit crazy that he comes over to Spurs and he has to bow down to players like Sanchez. He has to bow down to players like Winks. He has to make sure that they, can get the best out of them. Like I said, Dave, my new kind of quote, it's a bit ridiculous if you told me 3 years ago that somebody's saying, I don't think Davinson Sanchez is, being used properly by, Antonio Conte. I would probably slap you in the face if you said that to me 3 years ago, because it just sounds absurd. It sounds crazy, Dave. It sounds like, why is Antonio Conte having to, change everything that he knows, everything that he's successful with for these sort of players? It seems a bit stupid. It seems a bit ridiculous. But at this moment in time, Dave, where it seems like nothing is working, where it seems like they maybe have fallen out of that back 3 sort of groove, probably have to make that sort of change. You can bring on more attacking players as well. We've been constantly asking for maybe more attacking players on the pitch that can actually bring something. You can maybe then get away with putting Kulu or Lucas maybe through the middle or something like that. Have Højbjerg and Bentancur as those holding midfielders. That could actually work. We are successful with the 4-2-3-1. I don't know though, Dave, like why bring in Conte though, if you're just going to go back to the same old system that these players love playing? And honestly, they play it quite average these days as well. It's not even like we're that great at the 4-2-3-1 anymore. We saw it under Nuno. We saw it at some stages under Jose. It's not even like we're really replicating the same sort of system as we did under Pochettino. So who's to say it will even be that better? I'm not sure, Dave. But like I said, it sounds just ridiculous to say, to Antonio Conte, Antonio, I need you to switch to a back four because you're not using Sanchez properly. It just sounds stupid to say out loud.
Yeah, that's a good shout, Jack.
Absolutely spot on. And look, Stevie Fraser and Bodrul Mazid as well. They took the next question right off me. Great minds think alike, lads. But Daigle, Conte did mention about Kulu potentially, maybe able to play at right wing back. Do you think we could see that anytime soon? And does he have the pace to play there?
I don't think he has the pace. That's a huge, huge part. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a great comment. I think 2 people may have said it about lack of pace. It isn't really a big deal. Look at what we have with Teddy Sheringham, which is completely bang on the money.
He's also faster than he looks, Brian.
Yeah, but not a right wing back. Kulusevski is slow. I mean, I got to see it. People were saying that when they saw him on TV against Brighton and Southampton. I mean, David and I were there when he came on against Wolves, and he is, don't get me wrong, his footballing brain seems to like Sheringham. Is this why this comparison is very, very, very apt? Very, very, and I can see the exact comparisons footballing brain-wise. But the question for doing it a right wing back when you're going to be bombing it up and down that pitch the most out of all the players, he may have the stamina to last 90 minutes. He hasn't got the pace to keep up with the game, in my opinion. And I think he looked bright when he came on in the second. Like, he came on in the first half, but as the game wore on, he grew more and more into the game. And I think there's going to be something there. I can't see it a right wing back. Maybe it's an emergency to see a game out. Yeah, fine, done. He's got that versatility, but to make that his starting position and regular position, I just can't. And it's only the pace that is making me say that.
Yeah, no, spot on. Kuva, big up, Kuva. I hope you're keeping well, my man. Hope all is good. 4 centre-backs and 6 DMs. Hope they score less than 4 and Levy can ask them to turn the music up in the away end at half and full-time perfection. Hashtag Levy out. Big up, Kuva. Big up, my man. Killing Gubbins, big up, my man. Really appreciate the support with the big one as well. Honestly, you must have had a sneaky bet on or something like that. Come on, Killian, tell me the truth. Big up, my man. He says it's fine, David. I thought Doherty was decent defensively against Wolves, but agree he was poor overall. Offered nothing going forward. City are levels above us, but if we implement a game plan to rough them up, you never know. 1-0 Kane. No, look, that's a fair quote. To be honest with you, defensively, he wasn't poor, but going forward, he just offered absolutely nothing. And in a game against Wolves, when you're 2-0 down, you need players to grab that game by the scruff of the neck, start making something happen going forward. And he just did not want to do it. He just wanted to play safe. I think he knew he was having a decent enough game defensively, so he didn't really want to, excel or go beyond that to try and make something happen the other way, which is why he's out there in the fullback position or the wingback position to do. And he just didn't want to do it. But look, City, they are levels above us. But we've done it time and time again. We've done it under Poch.
We're their bogey team, man. We're their bogey team.
We are. We've even done it under Nuno. Yeah. It's kind of becoming a rule. That's
true, right?
It's kind of becoming a rule, Killian. But they're a different animal this year compared to us.
Yeah.
Look, do you know what, Killian? I'm going to go with you. I'm going to hold out 1-0. Spurs, Kane to score, shut the press up, shut some of the fans up who are on his back again. I absolutely love it. Big up, Killian.
If you want the rough them up sort of strategy, Killian, you probably have to go with Emerson maybe for this one. Emerson seems to like a bit more of the physical contact. He does seem to kind of get more of a kick out of it than you might say Doherty does. I see where your love for Doherty comes from, Killian. Emerson looks atrocious going forward at times. You kind of just want to say like, okay, maybe there is something better there. But when Doherty doesn't play well going forward, then you're kind of like, just play Emerson then, because if Doherty can't do anything going forward, you'd rather just have Emerson, someone who can actually get up and down the pitch at least a bit better than Doherty can. At the end of the day, Emerson, not a great footballer, but I would say if anybody's going to win a marathon on that team, it is going to be Emerson. The guy has a ridiculous engine getting up and down. So maybe for a game like City, you probably need someone just to do that, someone who can just run laps.
Is he going to have to get up anywhere though? I mean, are we going to see any time in there?
Just to be able to just need him even for decoy runs, just to clear space. I mean, he'll at least do that where Doherty just can't. Like, I'm not even kidding. Doherty doesn't even make those sort of runs because he has to then track back. And I don't know. I see where your love, Killian, comes from for Doherty. At the end of the day, he does create a whole lot more than Emerson does. But if you want that rough him up strategy, if you want to play a bit dirtier, if you want to maybe not play the beautiful football that we probably are not really used to seeing, but we want to see, then you're probably going to have to go with Emerson, my man. But really appreciate it, Killian Gubbins, and the big one as well. Throwing in huge ones. Big yourself up, my man.
Do you know what? One thing I want to give this guy credit for, his support for Doherty has never, ever, ever.
You gotta love it.
Even through the bad times, and I absolutely love it. But look, that's what you get from a Clare man. Loyal support. Let me know whereabouts in County Clare you're from, my man. But big up, Killian. Really do appreciate the support. And if you love a player that much, don't ever let me or anybody else tell you differently, my man. Big yourself up, Killian. What an absolute legend. And then we have Kavkov Gaming. I'm officially done with Spurs. Love you guys. No, look, do you know what? I see a bit of this lately, and look, I don't blame fans. I do not blame fans. I get it. It's tough. It's hard. But the good days will come eventually. And I still maintain this. They will come eventually. You just keep with the club. Look, you got to support it through its worst times to be able to get to the best times. Just stick with the club. Stick with the fan shows or the fan channels and stuff like that. They really do help people get through these tough periods when maybe results aren't going so well. But big up Kavkov Gaming. Really do appreciate the support.
Just to add to that real quick, David, too, is when the good times do happen, they are that much better.
Makes it more
if you
worth
go
it.
through the pain that we're going through right now.
Absolutely.
So when we do get there, it's going. Don't be missing in action, because the celebration is going to be epic.
Yeah, I mean, all I would say on that as well, and people know where I'm going with this because I've said it so often enough, and it happened on this channel. A great supporter of all the channels, William Kelly, came on and said pretty much word for word, but a bit more in depth. And I was like, don't do this. Don't let them win. Don't let like what Brian Ireland said. Listen, it's things like that give me the fuel for when I go to protest, or when I'm chanting "Leave you out" with the other people, or when I have my say about the way this club is run. Never ever give up on that team. I know how hard it is, trust me. I mean, people see me get volatile. People see me shout and scream. People see me laugh because I've just had a complete breakdown, and humour's the best way to deal with it. Listen, my dad always says something that will always stand with me. And he said, Brian, no matter what happens in your life, your parents come and go, family come and go, jobs, girlfriends, boyfriends, kids, everything in your life will come and go. Everything in your life. There's one constant that's through your life, and that's when you pledge your allegiance to a football team. They will never ever leave you, and you never ever leave them. And that now, that is what I cling to right now. They are your first love. They were my first love. They're probably a lot of people's first love when you're talking about it in such a grand scheme. And like when people say to me, "Oh, I pay for ticket," and I don't. I go there to support the team. I don't go there to support the board. I go there to support the people that cross that white line and the man that picks them. Don't let them win. Don't let them win and say things like that. Because like when Brian Ireland said, believe me, I'm still deciding what I'm going to do when I hear the day that they've left. I said with Jack on Wednesday that I'll probably do a Forrest Gump and say to Brian Ireland, I just felt like running and end up in Vancouver or something. God knows what I'll do. But when that day happens, and hopefully more prosperous times will come, like Brian Ireland said, it's going to be so much sweeter. So much sweeter.
Look, then at least hang on till the summer. Look, I know me and Daigle completely differ on this and the transfer window and stuff like that, but I genuinely believe we are going to change strategy this summer. I genuinely do believe that we will sign the players that we need this summer to go under Conte and Kane. And look, that's just my belief. I don't have any evidence that backs me up on that. Look, all the evidence are with Daigle. But just with what I've seen, bringing in Paratici, clearing out all the players and stuff like that, putting ourselves in a good position this summer, I do think we will see a good transfer window. If it doesn't happen, I mean, well, you're well within your rights. But just stick with me, stick with the two Brians, stick with Jacko, all the way to at least the summer. That's all we ask, guys. That's all we ask. John Stokes, he says, afternoon, Dave and Jack and panel. This guy's an absolute legend. He retweets absolutely everything. I do follow you on Twitter, my man. I do. And I will have a look at it after. Big up, John Boy. I hope you are keeping well, my man.
Big up, John. Just quickly, Amir Sardar, Dave. Amir Sardar is celebrating 2 months, and he's saying, greetings from the Holy Land. What a legendary panel. Yeah. Levy and Lewis out. Let's get the whole fan base behind Conte and the team. Glory, glory. Come on, you Spurs. Amir, absolute legend. Absolute man. He honestly is such a huge supporter of all the channels. Amir, really, really, really good guy as well. I've spoken about food probably for over 45 minutes at one stage in a private chat with him, talking everything from delicious relishes to hummus and whatnot. So I do love the guy. Amir, good to see you in here. And also glad that you're celebrating the 2 months, my man. Big yourself.
He's the guy that does that podcast, isn't it? That open.
He
does, yes. I think he does.
What a legend.
He's I actually got to meet him for the first time at the We Are Tottenham 100,000 subscribers party.
Oh, when did he?
Yeah, he was here in England as well. He's only 5 minutes down from my parents' house. So it's actually the first time I met him in person. He's a top boy.
Big up, Amir. Big yourself up. What an absolute legend. What an absolute legend, my man. Kafkov Gaming is back. He says, there was never a good time supporting Spurs. We have always been a nearly club. Our loyalty needs to be put aside to force the club to have ambition, to be honest with you. No, look, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. And look, if they would have just pushed that ball out a little bit under Poch, we probably would be sitting here talking about winning the Champions League, winning a Premier League, winning an FA Cup or a League Cup and stuff like that.
It doesn't mean there's no good time, though, David. I mean, I had a brilliant time watching the Champions League run, despite not.
I had a ball.
The Champions League run under Redknapp, I had a fucking blast.
Yeah,
Some of my best times of my life in the last 15 years is supporting Spurs, win, lose, or draw. I love it. It's fun. So, I mean, I guess it's just a different way of looking at things. But sorry, I had to get that in.
No, I'm with you.
You're absolutely spot on. Yeah, you had me up there because I was struggling to get Kafkov going, you know. But
yeah.
You're absolutely spot on. Look. We have had good times. I mean, if I look back to the club I started supporting as a kid to now, look, it's completely different. It's completely changed. I wasn't around for a lot of the success that Daigle, Dermot, We Are Tottenham TV, and the likes were around for, because I was in my mother's room waving a Spurs flag. But what I will say is that I have had good times, and them years under Pochettino were my best time supporting Tottenham, and they were fun. I mean, I was loving rolling up to these games and just absolutely just dogging rival fans out of it. It gave me so much pleasure. And, you know, going into every game, knowing you were going to win as well. We have had good times. Don't let the last 2 years deflect away from the good times we did have under Pochettino. Don't get me wrong. Last 2 years have been absolutely, honestly, it feels like Spurs should be paying us to follow them. It's been that torturous at times. Yeah. But do not let the last 2 years overshadow the good times we did have before that, my man. I know we didn't get over the line. I know we didn't get a trophy. But it was
still a blast, though. I still enjoyed the shit out of it, right? I mean, that's
100%.
There have been good memories for me.
You don't like football, I don't think, if you don't enjoy the ups and downs, right?
Harping what David said with Pochettino. Listen, I was still leaving out during Pochettino and always will be, as we know. But that time was the greatest, like in my recent history or in my lifetime of supporting Spurs. Like David said. Not only knowing you're going to win, but you're going to actually thump teams off the park. Like literally within the first half, like Liverpool did in that run to try and win the league when Gerrard slipped, and they were knocking teams 4-5 at half times. And it was the most united I've ever seen after our club as a fan base, the players' connection with the fans, the manager's connection with the players. The whole thing was all going in one direction, and it was like a Fast and Furious race, and someone has just put the nice guys on, and we were just storming up. It was just we were literally just going up levels. It was the happiest time I can remember, like in my going to Spurs history, of just waking up every game, 4-0, 5-0, the best defense. I mean, that was it. You've got to remember, going into that Leicester game when we had 2 games left, Harry Kane was 2 goals behind Romelu Lukaku for the Golden Boot. When he scored 4 against Leicester to put them 2 ahead, and then he scored a hat-trick in 20 minutes to go 5 ahead. Yeah. It was just games like that. That's the football. That time was so special. I've never seen White Hart Lane like it. I've never seen. I wish I'd been going on to Ben and Simeon and We Are Tottenham TV because they were going when that was going. Yeah. Because it was just so happy. I mean, it could be pouring out of rain, but there'd be rainbows and birds singing in my head, and everything was absolutely incredible. But yeah, there has been the bad times. But yeah, to say that there's not been good times, there's been any win against Arsenal, any win against the filth is like the holiest day of the life.
It's how you enjoy football too, right? Like if you watch football and you expect to always win, or you expect to be at the top all the time and to be competing all the time and winning trophies all the time, do you really like football at that point, or are you a glory hunter? Why don't you just support City at that point? Like it doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense to me. The journey, the pain, the people you do it with, the trip to and from the game, the times when you lost and the times when you won, all of those things are part of it. It's the experience of watching football. I'm getting chills when I'm saying it. I mean, that's what it's about. Yeah, of course it sucks. We've been a team that haven't gotten over the line for a long time, and that's hard. But it's still the team you love. It's still your club. It's still you still support it no matter what. That's for me. That's how I enjoy football. I mean, I'm not saying everybody should be the same as me, but if you're miserable and you hate this team, then you may as well fuck off.
But Jack, listening to I'm not going to say that now, Ireland, but look,
sorry.
We need all the fans we can get, so don't go anywhere. Stick with us.
But, I don't mean from here. I just mean in general.
Listening to Daigle bang on about all, Kane scored here and there. Now, do you see why I don't want to go up against him in the quiz against Spurs related, lad?
He knows a lot.
He's like the media, for fuck's sake.
No, we're going to get, Dave, we're going to get wiped. They're going to wipe the floor with us. They're going to wipe the floor with us.
We've got a quiz on Sunday.
I got to do a quiz on Sunday where I'm going to sit there and watch Brian win while I'm like high-fiving him virtually.
Yeah, but you get to bask in the glory, lad. It doesn't matter how much you contribute. You get to still bask in the glory.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I will.
We Are Tottenham TV says, how old do you think we are? A bit older than me, not much older, but a bit older. But big up, big up, Benji. Big up, my man. No, 34, I think you said to me one day. 32, 34.
No, you know what? I think you might be saying that when I said I wish I could go on We Are Tottenham TV during the Poch days. I don't know. I'm trying to remember how long they've been going, so I don't even know. Poch was what now?
I think that was in response to when I was saying about the glory days. Some of the fans older than me.
Fair play.
Joe versus Put. I think I'm just going to call you Joe. I think that's easier, my man.
Good effort, David. I think you almost got it there. It's impressive.
Let me know how I break down that last name, my man. Break it down in the chat. He says, don't live in our family apathy. Time to come back up now. Come on, you Spurs. Jack's FL.
I think Jacksonville. I think he's from Jacksonville, Florida. There you go. Joe, big yourself up, my man. I would say, actually, the missus is
East Coast,
leaving. The missus is leaving me for just a day and a half with a friend to go over to Florida during this sunny time of year. So big yourself up, Joe. Really, honestly, Jacksonville sounds quite nice this time of year. But Florida, I would say there are certain times of the year when Florida is a good state, my man, certainly. And we know Daniel Levy definitely thinks that way because he was over there for a time period as well. But Joe, big yourself up, my man. Don't live in the familiar apathy. Absolutely right. And then time to back up the boys and see the light at the end of the tunnel. Big yourself up, Joe.
Big up, Joe, my man. Absolute legend. Sorry if I did butcher the last name. Look, if you're like me and you take pride in your last name, you don't like people butchering it. But look, let me break it down in the comments. I want to learn that, my man. I want to learn it.
He has, David.
He says verse like a song. So verse put. Verse put.
That's how you'd say it.
First push.
You went for like a really cool. You went for like a Dutch or like kind of like Flemish sort of like pronunciation, Dave. I kind of like it.
I love it. I love the
Ajax
commitment.
player.
I love
the way that you pronounce it. Sound like an Ajax player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And just quickly, We Are Tottenham TV says 34, you fucker. Yeah, it's a bit older than me. You've seen a few more trophies than me, Benji. A few more trophies, my man. Look, it wasn't a diss. I was trying to build you up. Saying you've been through the good times and stuff like that. But big up, Benji. Kavkov Game says, why are we the only fan base that celebrate mediocrity? Jack, you haven't spoke to Kavkov yet. Do you want to speak to him?
Why are we the only celebrate it? I mean, I don't think we're the only fan base that celebrates mediocrity.
Did you see Arsenal win when
I
they
was just
beat
going to
Wolves?
say, if you look at the entire football pyramid, Kafkov, if you look at the entire football pyramid, there are clubs that are celebrating one win over the entire course of the season at the end of the day. So, if you look at the entire scale of the football pyramid, I would say we celebrate a bit more than mediocrity, to be honest. But if you're just talking about bigger, kind of sleeping giants of Premier League clubs, then I see where you're coming from, Kafkov. But if you're talking about the entire football pyramid in general, I would say, we're actually quite okay when it comes to our level of expectations, my man.
Yeah.
No,
And we're not really celebrating mediocrity. We're just recognizing that that's where we are right now. We're not happy about it.
There's
no
bold recognition that we're sometimes
streamers
pretty bad
blowing off and a horn blowing or some shit because we're crap. That's not what's happening.
It's winning because when we're crap. Yeah, it's that whole beautiful feeling. Al Ben's saying sympathy for Conte. Question, lads, take Son and Kane out of the squad, and from defense and midfield, which of the teams 10th to 5th are we better than? So if you take Son and Kane out of the squad,
why are we doing
where do you think we rank? Where do you think we rank
without
Son and Kane? I will say quickly, Al, what I would say quickly, you could say that about a few teams. You say that about Liverpool. Take away Mane and Salah, they're not in second place.
Take Saka.
Take out your best players. You're not going to be good.
I would say, except for like something like Man City. Except for like Man City, I would say that's the only team
in the league.
I would say the only team
and
that
Chelsea.
Yeah.
No, even Chelsea, I think they would struggle. You take their two best players, and that's
you take Jorginho.
That's their midfield, arguably, and them without their good solid midfield, without depth in it, they're fucked.
Alben, what I'll say to you is I'm going for 4th, and I still maintain my 4th. I'm not going between 10th and 5th. I'm not thinking like that. I'm a visionary. You have to be able to see it to believe it. So I'm picking number 4, my man. I'm going with 4th. Yeah, look, I can see what you're saying, Alben. I can definitely see what you're saying. Like, midfield, defense, bar Romero, bar Bent. Well, a midfield is all right once you play the right people in there, whether it's
fitness an issue,
or Bentancur. Look, the defense is probably the massive issue. Look, you put Winks in there. I've been saying this from the very first. Ben, you're watching. Tell me if I'm correct. From the very first fan show I went onto your channel, have I not been talking about Harry Winks and us getting overrun in midfield and the problems that he causes in there? I have. And look, for me, it's just about putting the right men in midfield. I can see what Conte was trying to do against Wolves. He thought he probably would be able to get away with resting Højbjerg, putting Winksy in there beside Bentancur. It just didn't work out that way. But look, we're gonna answer your question anyway. We'll all answer your question quickly. I stick with 4th, Jack.
8th.
Ooh, Ireland.
I go with 6th.
Daigle?
I'm going to take the easy option here. That's why I love going last, because I can go in the middle of Jack and Ireland. So I'm going to go 7th. So I'm not the last. That's the
Europa Conference League again.
Conference League it is, yeah.
I didn't think, wicked, we can get Conference League. I just went for... It's like when they do America or Britain's Got Talent, and one judge says no, the second judge should just say yes, because then the last person's got the vote. It doesn't matter what you think. Just give the guy some support. It's decent to do. So I'm choosing the middle option. I'm sitting on the fence for once.
Love it.
I love it. Ben says he's 34. I've seen 2 League Cups. That's it.
Well, one thing is I'm 42. I'm 42. I'm 8 years older than Ben. And I've seen 1 FA Cup more. All right, 81, 82, 84. We won 2 FA Cups and the UEFA, but I was 2, 3, and 5 at the time, so I don't really count them as saying in my lifetime.
Aren't we riding off our results from the 60s? Somebody said in the comments. I mean, yeah,
probably are.
I mean, titles certainly, but yeah.
But look, we were going to preview a small preview for the City game, but we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to skip straight to our new segment, which is taking some of the viewers' questions or some of the questions from the viewers that were put in. I'll just take these 2 super chats and then we will get into them questions. Faz Radfar says, so glad Conte clarified the twisted news by Sky. And Brian Ireland, you were talking about this.
Yeah. I mean, he came out and just, I think I said it earlier on the stream. He basically just came out and said that, what you've read is a bit strange. It's not really what I've said and how I feel about the situation. I recommend going to watch his press conference. It is passionate, it's intense, it's straightforward. It's the most angry I've seen him get, and in general, but in what he's angry at is the misinformation and the treatment of Spurs in the media. So I definitely recommend it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by it. So yeah, I'm glad he said what he said, and he's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, big up Fazrad Far, always in here as well, my man. I really do appreciate the support. And Amir Sardar says, speaking of quizzes, would love a nice Spurs quiz with the Irish Hotspur channel. Big up all the Spurs family and the legends on screen and in the chat. Come on, you Spurs. Do you know what? I probably should stop being lazy and go and put a quiz together. I'll be honest with you. But they're
takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It is.
Do you
Let me know when it is, David.
Look, I'll tell you a little something, right? So the last quiz I done, I think it's the only quiz I done, to be fair. We had Ben and Sim on. Now, I had to go back and watch every single quiz they done on their channel, rewatch them all, find out what answers they got wrong and what questions they weren't asked to try and level it out for the likes of Matty and stuff like that. It was painstaking. It took me days.
You should just get Brian to write it for you, David. Get Brian to write the quiz. He's got all the info. Just get him to write it, and you're good.
Yeah.
It took forever. It took absolutely forever because I was trying to make it equal. It took me days. But Amir, look, don't worry. We'll get on. We'll put one out there. Something a bit nice, light-hearted for everybody. Something that I will look for a way that maybe everybody could join in, and I'll even put a prize up for the people viewing in, whoever. But look, we'll sort something out. But Amir, just give me a little bit of time, and we will get it done, my man. Big up, lad. And I really appreciate the support. You're an absolute legend, my man. Absolute legend. Just quickly, just have to remove the two Brians. We have to do this Manscaped plugged.
Yes, there we go.
Earlier. So just give me 1 second.
Lads.
Get it ready while I just get it up.
I can get it up, Dave. But everybody, as always, it is that time of year. It is basically the time when Manscaped, they're calling for everybody to head on over to their website, to head on over and get that 20% off. Like I said before, everybody, I think might be over by now, but I've got reports from people that they've even gotten 60% off on top of the flat cap code that is there, everybody. So with 20% off, with that code FLATCAP, you get free shipping and everything at Manscaped. And I'm not even kidding, everybody. Some people sent me screenshots of 60% off stuff. But Dave, this episode of the Irish Hotspur brought to you by Manscaped. Let's get it done.
Yeah, 1 second, Jack. I'm trying to find it, lad. I can't find it amongst everything we have.
Well, I'll keep talking. Like I said, everybody, again, when it comes to Manscaped, it's not even just down under stuff, everybody. It is basically everything up above. You can get colognes to body washes to nail clippers to everything that you need just to take care of yourself. It's not just grooming for down below. It's grooming for every single inch of your body. So everybody do head on over to Manscaped. But Dave?
Yeah, roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let a wild pube wreck you. Look, Valentine's Day, everyone that did get stuff for Valentine's Day, you basically, you just got to keep it up. You got to keep the appearance. You can't slack. You had it nice and trimmed for the missus or your partner for the last Valentine's Day, and they're going to want them standards to continue, just like Antonio Conte wants the standards to be raised at Tottenham. So make sure you prepare, because like a wise man once said, fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Absolutely, Dave. And ladies and gentlemen of the Irish Hotspur, it is the season of romance, and we just want to make sure that you're ready. With Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0, you'll have no stress with looking your best down under. The package includes the Lawnmower 4.0, the electric trimmer that it does come with, comes with advanced skin-safe technology, reduces cuts and nicks and bruises, people, as well as just keeps those nice romantic jewels all nice and proper. It's so easy to use. It's waterproof. There's no need to worry about slipping. It also comes with a 4000K LED spotlight. So basically there's no sitters, there's basically, you just can't miss. There's no Bergfine sitter in front of goal. You simply can't miss, Dave.
The performance package also comes with a weed whacker, it's a nose and ear hair trimmer. And if you didn't think this package couldn't get any better, Manscaped include their very own ball toner and ball deodorant to keep your boys smelling fresh all day long.
Smell fresh all day long. Exactly, Dave. But probably one of my favorite things, I'll be honest, is that travel bag and those anti-chafing boxers that does come with that full performance package, everybody. I know it seems like a lot, but I would say the full performance package comes with a lot of free goodies, a lot of complimentary goodies that include probably my new favorite boxers, Manscaped's boxers. It's like Bentancur in the midfield, everybody. It's like my new favorite signing. It's already my new favorite midfielder, Dave. And don't forget Harris Army. Manscaped also want to help you look good and smell good in other areas, especially with their signature scented refined cologne.
And look, you know, the world is back open. A lot of people are going to be traveling. Well, Manscaped created their products just for trips like you're going to be taking. Everything in the travel bag, like Jack was saying. You know what I mean? What more do you want?
And everybody get 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLATCAP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use that code FLATCAP to get 20% off, everybody.
Join Cupid and shoot your arrow with Manscaped.
There you are, everybody. Thank you very much, Manscaped, for sponsoring this episode of the Irish Hotspur. Thank you very much, Manscaped, for being so generous to us, as well as allowing us to even test the products, everybody, because we do actually know what the products do, which is also a blessing as well. Yeah, we're well trimmed. We're well trimmed. But we are going to now move on to the end of the show, everybody. But first, I do believe we have a huge super chat, Dave, from Spurs72 here. Wow. And I absolutely, Spurs72, just a quick shout out. I must say, this guy is so kind on all the channels. He's such a regular everywhere. He's really, really kind to me as well on my channel, Dave. Spurs72, just want to say before we read it, massive shout out to a massive legend.
No, Spurs72. Look, especially on this channel, he's here every single show, like so many others. Really do appreciate it. He says, Brian Ireland just summed up my love for Tottenham in an elegant rant. Loved it. Been supporting this club since the 1980s. Best club in the land, next to Leighton Orient. Well, Brian Ireland,
wow,
you know, take it away.
It's nice to be called. It's nice to be called elegant. Thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Don't get that all the time.
You know, I appreciate this, and you know, of course, you know, the donation to the channel is fantastic, and supporting these guys is what it's all about. And yeah, I mean, it's again, it's how and why you love football. Why do you tune in every day? The club that has chosen you, not the club you chose. You stick with them and you support it, and you do whatever you can, thick and thin. And it's more than just the glory. And of course we all want that. It's not like we're sitting here saying we don't. We want it, but it's not the be all and end all. There are other ways to enjoy football.
No, spot on. Jack, do you want to say anything to Spurs72 quickly?
Spurs72, Brian Ireland hit the nail on the head. You suffer for a reason. You go through the bad times for a reason, because that's what makes the good times all the more better. If you continue to succeed, if you always win, it doesn't really make winning very fun. In fact, it's nice to be kind of beaten down, you know, kind of knocked to the ground multiple times, and then finally being, you know, risen by a 2-1 home win at Southampton. Sometimes just results like that, you know, they just lift you back up, they Lazarus you back up. But I would say Spurs72, it's all the beauty in being a Spurs fan. And again, Spurs72, massive shout out. Absolutely love you. Really do appreciate all the support that you do give me as well, Spurs72.
And a supporter since the 80s as well. You know, hopefully you could be a supporter till 2080 as well, my man. Big up Spurs72. What an absolute legend. And then we have DG. I used the code from here. Should come with a warning. Do not use while drunk. My man, that's why I put in there. You know what? Like Roy Keane once said. You know, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. That's why I put that in there. That is your warning, my man. Look, you're supposed to get it done before you go out and get drunk. Because the whole idea is you go out, get a few drinks, pick someone up. You know, and then you go. Look, you know what happens there. I don't need to go into it. But, you know, you're already prepared, basically. But that was the warning. You know, fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Big up, DG. Big up, DG. I would say, though, DG, I trust you. I trust your hand-eye coordination, my man. I trust your hand-eye coordination. You'll do well. You'll do well, DG. Big yourself up, though.
Oh, what an absolute legend. Big up, DG. But look, Jack, we'll go into the questions that we got in the community section on the channel. Just quickly, for anyone that does want to get involved in this segment next week, it will be up on the community channel, the community section on this channel. Just put your questions in, and the same as the Tottenham on Tour, it'll be up in their community section and on social media as well. So do get your questions into us. We really want to get you guys out there more and more involved as more ways as we can. So please do get your questions in. But Jack, look, let's take it away, my man.
We got one from Welsh Gal here, absolute legend, and she says, I don't understand why Spurs don't make better use of their academy. Other top teams have developed and brought through some great talent. Examples, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Why do Spurs seem to have a fixation with average foreign players who sometimes have trouble adjusting to the Premier League? Spurs, with their bargain basement shopping, will not be able to compete on the highest level. Discuss. Brian Ireland, what do you think? Like, do you wish we had more youth academy players coming instead of just getting that 20 million,
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at teams that have academies and they're using them really well, I hate mentioning the likes of Chelsea and obviously Man City with the money they have. The players that are coming through, the amount of players that they have, Chelsea in particular, that go out on loan that are successful at other clubs, that whether they're they go out on loan and they come back, or they go out on loan and they still have a successful loan and then a successful career, their academy is functioning the way it's supposed to function. Our seems to be sort of the step that needs to be taken from a player, which we've seen in the last, Markinde comes to mind. A few other players that's happened to you. They look like they're about to get there, and then something goes wrong at that transition level from getting them to that, really good in the youth side, playing good for under 22, under 21s when they're 17 and 18, scoring a ton of goals, to not transitioning into the first team. I don't know what that is. I don't know what's wrong there with that transition, but it seems to be, like Welsh Gal said, an issue. And there's something with Spurs that needs to be fixed there. I don't know what it is. I'm not knowledgeable enough to say what we need to do to fix it, but it does need to be fixed. We have seen good players come through, obviously the likes of Skip is an obvious one, and Harry Kane, but it's not enough. It's not enough really to say that our academy is focused, or that our academy is doing what it needs to be doing for the first team to make sure we have a depth of squad that we need to have. We just don't, we don't on the bench when you're kind of looking going, oh God, we've got injuries, and you're looking over and you don't really know what these players can play in the team or not. You look at Liverpool, like they got the likes of Harvey White. Is it not Harvey White?
Harvey Elliott?
Harvey Elliott. Fantastic player. Comes
Chelsea
in,
too.
slots into their midfield. Looks like he's been playing for them forever. No difference in levels. That's an issue for us massively, and I don't know what it is what the fix is, but it needs to be sorted out ASAP. If we're going to, as Levy says on a number of times, our philosophy is this: we're going to bring the youth through. Well, you're doing it wrong, mate. As well as other things, but that there's something wrong with how that transition's happening. It's not happening the way it needs to.
Beautiful answer, Brian. Beautiful answer. I completely agree. Daigle, do you feel like you want to see maybe more players like a Harvey White maybe being called up instead of us maybe getting in like what we would have done, like a Sofiane Amrabat? Would you rather see like a Harvey White, come through than a Sofiane Amrabat? Do you feel like Spurs should be doing a better job at least giving these guys a chance? Let's say they fail, let's say they crash and burn, but we don't even seem to give them chances.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's what we all want to see. Everyone wants to see their hometown club or the club they support bringing through the youth prospects and seeing that they do well and they've been with the club. Listen, I'm glad you mentioned Harvey White. I'm really glad, because it just goes to show a fundamental reason, another reason why this club is in the mess it's in. He couldn't go out on loan because we couldn't bring players in or let too many players go, whichever way you want to look at it. Harvey White is a very big prospect. And another one that I speak about very regularly on here, Alfie Devine, is going to be a superstar, a huge superstar. Alfie Devine, mark my words. Now, the way these youth players, we've had, look, Ollie Skip went out on loan. We've seen what he done. Kyle Walker went out on loan. We saw what that did. You can't expect these players that are big prospects to just sit on the bench. Oh, they're training with the first team. In you go, your class. It doesn't happen unless you look at Liverpool. You mentioned Liverpool with Harvey Elliott. They knew what they had in Trent Alexander-Arnold. They knew they had a superstar. So they really homed in on him, gave his progression, like a progression plan. This is how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to get there. And they give Liverpool, have always done this with their youth. You look at Robbie Fowler, you look at Michael Owen. They have a plan to get this player ready for first team, and then bang, away you go. We have people like a Dane Scarlett, who had been on the bench a couple of times this season, especially Chelsea. He's not coming on. He's there because we're weak in numbers. We let Brian Hill go out on loan to Spain, but we're saying he needs to adapt to the English game. So send him out on loan to an English team, whether it be another Premier League team or a high Championship team. You control the narrative. So how is a foreign player going to learn about the English game? And what are we going to learn from Brian Hill going back on loan in Spain, where he knows the league? He can play that league. He knows the language fluently. This is him. He's going to settle like a duck to water. These players like Harvey White, Dane Scarlett, Alfie Devine, Lavinia, I can never say his name. Thank God, Jack. Pat, the right back.
Yeah,
Thank
Pascazzi.
you,
Pascazzi.
mate. Jack, I need a mini Jack to come with me on every single stream if
Like
I
a
start speaking
keychain.
about foreign players. Yeah, I just need you to send me voice notes with all the foreign players' names. So I can just find him and go, right, there he is.
Let's create an app. Let's create an app for that Jack's voice
That'd be
comes up.
fun,
in.
actually.
Yeah, let's do
That's
that.
the name for you.
These players, if they're going to be the talents that we believe they are and that we're hearing from the clubs that they're going to be, they need to go out and learn first team experience, whether it be in the Premier League, whether it be in the Champions League, what am I saying? Championship. They need to learn the English game. And so much, I actually prefer when they go to the Championship because it's a lot rougher, it's a lot more constant, the games are thick and fast. It is, you will learn a lot more about yourself and the player and the tackles that are coming in and the treatment you're going to get.
And England, Brian. And England.
Yeah, in England, but in the Championship,
big one.
Obviously it's 40-odd games. It's Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, whatever it is. It's so constant that you get to learn about you as a player. You're playing regular first-team football. I mean, I think it's key. You look at it when we sent Sessignon out to Hoffenheim with Jose. He said, I see him as a left wing-back. He's only going on loan to somewhere he's going to play left wing-back. We sent Skip to Norwich, which is a great football team for someone like Ollie Skip to go and learn his craft, play the style of football that Norwich do when they're in the Championship, because that's the kind of midfielder we want him to be. So he doesn't just get to play regular football. It's in the position Tottenham Hotspur have said, this is where you're going to be. This is where you're going to play. Go and learn. Because he can be playing regularly for the youth team, the under-23s, the reserves, or on the bench. Nothing is better than crossing that white line whenever it may be and getting 90 minutes under your belt, whatever it may be. We have handled like the whole Markham day, where Levy said after Campbell, I'm not letting anyone leave under a contract. We all heard what a great talent this kid was. We all heard, yet we let it get to the point where he controlled the narrative. And by his own right, he wanted first-team football. You can't argue with him. But it's another one where this guy was likened to a star.
He might be another Noni Madueke. He might be another Noni, out of the door.
Exactly, Jack. Exactly. And we've allowed this to happen. So the whole way we've dealt with the loan system is appalling, and it needs to be addressed because people like Harvey White, who is a real talent, just isn't getting what's doing sitting on the bench doing for him. Nothing. Well, it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, just for me quickly on the youth system. In order for these young players to come out and believe, there has to be spaces open within the squad where they'd be able to play in likes of the Europa Conference League like we had this year, the FA Cup, League Cup, early rounds. And that hasn't been there. It's been blocked up over the last couple of years with the sheer amount of crap we had at this club. So we were actually playing them players in the Conference League, in the Cups and stuff like that. And look, I've been a big advocate ever since I first started. I don't want to see that shit roll out anymore. I'd much rather give the youths a chance. At least they'll run around and they'll try to have that enthusiasm. But and what I'm saying is correct, because Noni Madueke left because he thought he was good enough to be given a chance in the first team. It wasn't there, so he left. And all of a sudden we're linked with him, and now we have to go and pay 30-40 million if we want him back. Dennis Serkin, who is a good left back, he left because there was no path for him into the first team.
You know we're buying Kyle Walker-Peters in the summer.
Yeah, probably.
It's coming.
But like the thing is, there's no pathway for them to the senior team, and a lot of these players know that. So, like, why would they go out on loan? Like, even if they do go out on loan, they're not going out on loan to impress anybody at Tottenham Hotspur, because there's no pathway for them to be able to get into the team or get any game time whatsoever to prove that they are good enough. Yep. And that's where the disconnect, especially over the last 2-3 years, maybe a bit longer than that, has come from the youth squad into the senior team, because we have stockpiled so much shit that there has been no way for them to get any sort of game time. So then you look at it, do they believe then? Do them youngsters believe? And I don't know, it's just not a good situation to be in. It's not a good situation to be in, but hopefully now that has been rectified.
Yeah.
With the likes of Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Ali and all going, and hopefully more in the summer, that now you will see some of these players get called up for a League Cup game, an early round of an FA Cup game, for the Europa Conference League next season, games in there as well. So, as as much as it is on the individual to prove themselves, you also have to leave a pathway open for them that they believe they can get there, so that they can get the best out of themselves every single day. Because if they don't have that spot in the first team that they can envisage, that they can get game time, it's just natural that they're gonna drop off in terms of what they're doing in training. Are they going to develop their game to the full potential if there's not that end goal in sight?
Yeah, completely agree. And just want to say, Welsh gal, unbelievable question. Unbelievable question, Welsh gal. Really, really spot on. Wrap up with this one. Not an easy one to wrap up on, but another one here from Liam 1. I wish we had Dermot for this one. Because he would absolutely go off on one here. To answer it quickly, Brian certainly is
just quickly, lads. Jack, are you all right to wrap this up? I have to bounce, man.
No problem, Dave.
Cheers, David.
Everybody, catch you, Dave.
Have a good one, brother.
But Liam 1, all I would say is, to be honest, like, the only reason I feel like we aren't doing enough to promote the heritage is because it detracts from the property value for Daniel Levy. It probably costs a lot of money to remove a statue or something like that, or maybe it just detracts from, I don't know, the actual real estate. I'm not sure. There should at least be one of Arthur Rowe. There should at least be one of Bill Nick. There should at least be one of Jimmy Greaves. I think those are the big three that you have to get done right away. Liam 1, he's even saying, guys, he goes like, maybe I'm just a sentimentalist, but I feel like, the club forgets about our greats like Arthur Rowe, Bill Nick, Danny Blanchflower, and treats them as dusty relics of the past, as opposed to living and breathing their values. I feel like maybe the way we could connect this here, Brian Daigle, is it's kind of like re-education, right? Like, when something happens in the past, the newer generation, they don't know about the history. They don't know about what's happened before them. So then it's the responsibility of the older generation to teach them what was before them, where the history comes from, where the love of the club comes from. And statues like that would be a great way to teach, kids like that. A kid walks by and they would ask their dad or their mom, who is that? And then they would explain who Jimmy Greaves was and who he was. Who's that? That's Arthur Rowe. They explain that. Do you feel like, Brian, it's a great way to actually educate younger Spurs fans about our history?
So do you know what? This comes up a lot about this statue thing. And there's something that always gets thrown up on a religious side. I'm going to address this now because it's in the Jewish law that we don't bow down to idols, which means statues, blah, 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 blah. But that's he can try and use that, and I'm talking Levy and the board, that as the reason why we don't have them. But then we have a great person by the name of Ben Kaufman, the coffee guy, who comes on all the channels, who is Jewish like myself, but his family keep kosher. Daniel Levy, there is not one kosher food vendor in that stadium.
Wow, that's
crazy.
So
that's actually ridiculous.
So Daniel Levy or the board can't go, oh, it's the Jewish thing and they don't do this, but then they don't do that. And Daniel Levy, if he's being the Jewish person he is, shouldn't be at games on a Saturday for obvious reasons, if we're going down the Jewish religion terms. But what's going on with our history is being wiped. It's being completely eradicated and wiped off the map. I mean, I get very, very annoyed at certain things like in the stadium that we don't even have the THFC in the seats anymore. It's because obviously it's for a bigger audience now. Just little things like that. Like when the boxing was there for the Anthony Joshua fight, and someone took the great picture or video and said, you know what, if it wasn't for that cockerel up there, if you didn't come from England and didn't know this was Tottenham, you would have a clue what football stadium you were. Yes, they got the programme things on the wall. The statue thing, you look at it, great teams.
Our best ever teams.
And showcase their history. You look at United, the Busby Babes and Matt Busby and Bobby Charlton and whatever. Chelsea have got theirs. You look at West Ham that have got Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst and Martin Peters. You look at the filth that have got Bergkamp, Henry. You look at Leeds.
Can I interrupt you real quick, Brian? Did West Ham, and this is a curious sort of conversation, part of this conversation, did West Ham take those trophies to the new stadium, and did they put them up in their new location? I wonder, and of course this isn't accepting that we do enough. I think we should be doing more. But does the new stadium hinder that, or does it mean that they're less likely to do it? I'm just curious more than anything.
So when it comes to West Ham, obviously it's right on Stratford and Westfield shopping centre. So I don't know the logistics of
I just wonder if that's part of it. But
you never know that could be. But I mean, they still honoured it at Upton Park. Now we've got which was made before Levy came, the bust of Bill Nicholson's head that used to be in the West Stand when you walked in. The fact that, and someone else mentioned another one, Dave Mackay. Dave Mackay, Bill Nick, Arthur Rowe, Jimmy Greaves. I would say if there's to be four if we were to do our Mount Rushmore now, those are the four. Those are the four, hands down, right away. If you want to talk Spurs history, but it's all being eradicated. I mean, we have a famous saying that is the game is about glory. Well, that seems to be far-fetched during this time. I think it's like people are talking about the Y word, and it's about education. This is why channels like Tottenham Hot Tantrum Gold are so vital and so brilliant at what they do, because there are fans my age. I mean, they show games that even I haven't seen or I've heard about but never got to see, whether it was a win, a lose, or a draw. Tottenham Hotspur is steeped in so much history. The first and only ever team to win the FA Cup as a non-league club. That will never, ever, ever be repeated. Hands down, not a chance. To win the first double last century, to win the FA Cup for the first time 8 times, the first English club to win a European trophy. Everything is. But if I just plop someone from anywhere across the world now and said, talk to me about this club, they'd probably say 2 pitches.
They'd probably start, Brian, from like around 2010, 2011.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is what happened. I got to, thankfully, and a lot of people in this chat and a lot of people within the YouTube community have their fathers or their grandfathers or their mothers and their grandmothers and whatever, or their aunties and uncles to tell you about the glory days. I mean, I still remember as well, Bill Nicholson, it will always be in my heart, in my head. First game he ever played for Tottenham as manager, we beat Everton 10-4. 10-4, and here you go, opening match as a manager. And unless you wouldn't know any of this now. You just wouldn't know. Everyone jokes and laughs about my knowledge when it comes to Tottenham when I'm on quizzes. Oh, what's the point, Dagels? But it's because I've been brought up, being told these stories, and raised and educated, and also, thankfully, I spend a lot of time watching Spurs, whether it be present or back in the day. I've watched, like, Spurs brought out a video of their 100-year anniversary, and it was like a 3-hour VHS about going through. I've watched documentaries, the history of Tottenham Hotspur, when it goes through decade via decade on YouTube, and you look at it, and we are steeped in such wonderful and illustrious history. And now it's like, we joke about Chelsea having a history only from 2004. Well, we had a history up until 2001. Yeah, that's where it is right now.
Yeah, and I just to add to this, I don't have the knowledge obviously that Brian has, because I am Tottenham on tour. I am a person who's grown up outside of England.
Yeah, you've
watching.
To teach yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And I've read a few books. I've been to the Lane a couple times for games in the 90s when I first became a fan. And the sayings that there is to do, the game is about glory. These sort of ideas seem to be something that, as a team that is struggling for togetherness and getting fans on board and understanding what's important for the fan to enjoy about the football that they watch and the club that they support, they seem like it's just a massive missed opportunity for the club, not recognizing that what those things will do for them and for their ability to get things done for the club and for us to improve and to get better as we go. It seems like an odd one for me that it isn't considered. Now, having said that, I do know that they did consider some things in the building of the stadium. I know that the center spot is somewhere in the ground. And there's some spots in the new stadium where they've taken a bunch of pieces from the old stadium and they put them into the construction of the new stadium. Those things are good. I mean, those are positive things to do, and they are considering some of that, but it seems like it was just for the sake of making people happy, not for really ingraining it into the culture of being Spurs. And I think it's a missed opportunity. I think that the club really looked at it and maybe just polled or did some sort of poll and asked, like, what would you like to see happen? It would be a massive amount of numbers would like to see more of that brought in. So for the match day experience, for people to understand what it is that they support. It is a very, very old club steeped in a ton of great history that is missed. I see in the comments people are like, "Oh, Spurs have never won anything." Well, they have, okay, and it has been a long time.
In fact, they've been the first to win certain
many of those
trophies.
things, which Brian mentioned. Yeah, it's not a case. It's not a case of that we haven't won anything. It's a case of we haven't won anything since you've been alive. Now that is a problem, but don't get me wrong. I understand that, and I'm not suggesting that we should be accepting that by any means at all.
It's a good distinction, though.
Yeah, it is, and it's been a long time, and this is where the problem with Levy comes in, and that's a whole other conversation. But it's been 20 years, and there's been one trophy, whereas that would never have happened previously. So things need to change in that case, and it is an opportunity for the board and for the chairman to recognize what Spurs are about and really bring that into that match day experience and understanding for new fans what it is to be a Spurs fan and a Spurs supporter.
Well, I have to say, I'm just trying to find the comment. I'm trying to find the comment, but someone has just given the best YouTube comment I've ever had on anything I've said. Someone put in the comments, I need to know who put it. When I said about Bill Nicholson's first game 10-4, they put Adam Phillip, man. This is the best comment I've ever received. This is absolutely fucking genius. My man, funny, yeah. I salute you because that is comedy fucking gold.
That's good.
That is brilliant.
It's gold. Nice one.
Well broken down, both of you. I would say, for me, the statues as a must, just for Dermot's sake, because he loves the guy and because he has the most appearances, I think, still to this day. Steve Perryman has to be a statue. Arthur Rowe, who invented the 1-2, I believe. Obviously, Bill Nick. Jimmy Greaves, I think that's 4. And then Dave Mackay is 5. I think you throw in big 5 statues in there. Spread them around the stadium just to make Levy even more mad. But big yourself up, everybody that's joined today. Really great question, Liam 1.
Yeah,
and thank you both for joining today. Here's the link, everybody. Tottenham on tour. Still plenty of people in the house. So anybody that hasn't, been over to Tottenham on tour, that has, yet to get that big noggin on the red subscribe button, head on over there. The link is right here. There are 2 links, so there's no excuse. You practically can't miss it. There are 2 links sandwiching the chat in here, so they have to click on it. But guys, what can they find over on Tottenham on Tour?
Well, if I could quickly add to what you just said, and then I'll let Brian go with forward with it. They can add that we do this every week with the Irish Hotspur. This is rotating from Friday to Friday. This week it was Irish Hotspur. Next week, if you enjoyed this content, hop on over to Tottenham on Tour, like and subscribe to that. You'll get a chance to this panel again. Hopefully, Danny and Ads will be able to join us next week as well. But this is going to be an ongoing for your Friday morning, early afternoon situation to enjoy the chat. Look for that. And Brian, care to add anything else?
Yeah, so I was just laughing in my head still at that full.
I know you were.
It's fucking brilliant. It's
your smile is distracting. Stop doing it while I'm trying to make a point.
Well, the sad thing, I'll try and get rid of the smile, because also I want to mention about our mental health show.
Yep.
So we did, and we're still doing donations for another 8 days or 9 days, because it's a leap year. Mental health is something that is mental health and addiction, shall I say, something very, very worrying, and something we take huge honour in discussing regularly on Tottenham on Tour. And on the beginning of February, we did a massive mental health show, and are taking donations for the whole of February to give to 2 charities. One back home in Toronto called CAMH, which is mental health and addiction, and a brilliant charity from one of the guests that was on our show, Tara, who is the CEO and a huge Spurs fan of a great organisation and charity called Sport Against Suicide. Last time I checked, we're up to 777 Canadian. What are we on now? Is it still
777? I just checked right now. Yeah, it's great. Thanks for everybody for contributing to the cause. Yeah. It's fantastic. Really appreciate it.
Listen, everybody, mental health, it affects all of us, no matter whether you believe it or not. You always have, everybody goes through really tough patches in their life, some longer than others, some tougher than others. But it means that it is something that affects all of us. It is something that everybody is, somehow connected to. And so please, 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 if you feel like you are really passionate towards that cause, which I know they are, and I know David and I are as well, please, please, please donate to one of those 2 charities. One of them is in the UK, and the other one is in Canada as well, and North America. But everybody, it affects all of us. So please, please, if you do have if you're generous enough, if it's something that you really care about, I would head on over to those links, everybody.
Cheers for that, Jack.
Sorry about that, lad. Amazon delivery guy was at the wrong Paddy Power, so I had to sprint up the high street. Because, Jack, the hassle I had getting the flat.
Oh, I know, Dave. I know. It's a fortress.
All I have to know, why are you having Amazon deliveries to a bookies?
No, I live right beside the bookies.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I thought you were giving your address as Paddy Power.
No,
oh my God.
he was stopping the Amazon guy from selling his package.
No, because last time I got a flat cap off Jack, it was just I had to ring up the company and everything else because like where I am, it's like it's hard to find, which is probably good, but you know, so he was at the wrong Paddy Power, so I had to sprint up the high street to get it. If I didn't get that, the missus would have absolutely killed me. So
yeah, there you are, everybody. But that's the end of the show, Dave. You know, we just plugged Tottenham on tour. Everybody as well, do head on over to Flat Cap Euro Talk. Just did a video over there. Really appreciate both the Bryans coming on today. It's been an absolute blast, everybody. Like I said, both of their links are in the chat here, so you can't miss them. It's been a really nice, chill kind of wrap up to the week, as maybe we said in the beginning.
Love the Friday show.
I love the wrap up. I love it.
Yeah, it's
weekly wrap up.
Yeah. Weekly wrap up. But that is it, everybody. Really do appreciate everybody as well throwing in their questions, throwing in their comments. Please, if you feel like you wanted one of your questions to come up on screen, like Welsh Gals or Liam one, next time around when it's the shows on Tottenham on tour, feel free to throw in those questions on our community page, on their community page, wherever you feel. Also on social media, if you feel like as well. Do throw in those questions so you can have your comments, your kind of ideas discussed at the end of the show. And as well, throw in some personal ones if you like as well. If you don't even want to talk anything Spurs, if you want to know maybe, I don't know, what Dave's favorite color is, or, you know,
where
what he likes to do on a Friday night.
Where does Jack get the hats? If he's
sending
them all the way to fucking Ireland, for God's sake.
How many sweatshirts does he own? You know,
he must have a connection there that people want to know.
Maybe so. All those sort of questions, if you want answered, do throw those ones in as well. Throw them in on Tottenham on Tour community page. Throw them in on our community page as well as the social medias. But that'll be it for now, Dave.
Yeah, and look, everybody, hopefully we see you back here tomorrow for the pre-match build-up and the watch-along as Tottenham take on City. Look, I just want to say a massive thank you to Jack and the two Bryans for giving up their time today to do this. I really do actually enjoy these chilled-out Friday shows. I want to say a massive thank you to you guys out there who are viewing in. All these channels are absolutely nothing without the support that you guys give them. So a massive thank you to you. A massive thank you to everybody who has helped out with the channel financially with the super chats. You have no idea how much it really does help me and Jacko on the journey. So greatly appreciate it, guys. And look, we'll see you all back here tomorrow for the pre-match build-up. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
In Conte we trust.
In Conte we trust.
Levy out.
And get over to and just quickly.
What are you doing?
Your talk and smash that subscribe button because Jack is so close to 1,000 and I really want to get there.
Big up.